Hi there. I am here to talk about Table 8.1 and some of the conferencing techniques that were described there. I alluded to this in a couple of my previous posts. This model and tables and even into Chapter 9 seem to follow the principles of the coaching model called cognitive coaching. It was the model that I used as an instructional math coach down in Texas for a few years. I think one of the things, especially if we look through the lens of the Mr. Smith case, is if you have a teacher who's reaching out for help or has been identified as maybe someone with an instructional challenge, it's the job of the specialist or the academic coach to kind of help them go through a process of self-discovery by trying to, in a very non-threatening way, provide feedback and data collection on their practices. As I mentioned in the writing that I did, the authors were pretty consistent in their ideas about arranging a mutually beneficial time for both the pre-conferences, the observations, and the post-conference, but to make sure that the post-conferences coincide pretty quickly after the observation so that the data collection is fresh in the teacher's mind and the conversations can revolve around something that just happened maybe a day or so before, as opposed to waiting for a week. I think the thing that I struggle with the most when I was going through the coaching process and looking at these things from Table 8.1 and in Chapter 9, that when I think back to my practice, was trying to make sure I only observed and commented on what the teachers and I agreed about. If it was just scripting lessons or scripting questions, then I just scripted. And unless there was some child endangerment issue or something that was way outside the confines of the student discipline handbook, we didn't bring those up unless the teacher wanted to talk about them. And even then, I tried to bring it back to the things that we had decided. I think it's a really fast way to burn trust, is if you go in there to just check and see where they're moving around the room every minute, tick, tick, tick. And then the first thing that you talk about is, well, I noticed that you only called on one kid, or mentioned questioning strategies that needed to be improved, as opposed to just figuring out what the best way to look at the data that you agreed on collecting. I think it's a really solid plan that it's put in place for these teachers in these two chapters. I think also it needs to be pointed out that this isn't going to be a quick fix kind of deal. The amount of time and then going back and refocusing on the same couple of strategies a few different times kind of lends itself to a 2 or 3 week process when you're just looking at perhaps instituting new classroom movements or questioning techniques, not just okay, so we did walk around this time and tomorrow I'll be in and we'll do questioning strategies, because that just doesn't seem like it lends itself to going back and checking to see if everything had gone well with the progress. So hope you guys have a nice day and talk to you later.